It could be the least wanted job in Quebec. We're talking about Liberal Party leader. But now one man is showing a growing interest in running for the leadership of the Quebec Liberal Party. Marguerite-Bourgeoys, MNA, Frederic Beauchemin has declared he could be up for the challenge, and he joins us on the line. Monsieur Beauchemin, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
So let's throw this out here, okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is there's no way I want this job. 10 is I'm definitely running. Where are you right now?
I'm in the mid-sevens.
Mid-sevens, okay. And what would get you to a 10? What do you need to see?
I still need to get my head around as to the entire scope of the job. I still need to figure out the support I need to get in order to get going. Think about the funding of this campaign that needs to happen. And there's a whole bunch of different little things here and there. But at the end of the day, what motivates me here more than anything else is the fact that we need to build a credible alternative to this government, and there is no other party but the Liberal Party of Quebec to do so.
So why do you think there's such, and you just showed some hesitancy, and you know, there's a lot of other people have just said, well, I'm not going to run at all, so I guess you're a little bit better off there. But why do you think there's been so much hesitancy for, you know, a job that not too far a while back, people would be gunning for this job? That'd be one thing you'd want. You'd want to be the leader of the Quebec Liberal Party. What do you think's happened?
I'll be honest with you. I think the actual challenge of the job is extremely motivating to me in the sense that I like the challenge in itself, and I think it's a response that Quebecers will want to hear in terms of an alternative at the poll. Why do others, decide not to run or want to not get up to the challenge? It's their decision. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't make up their mind, but in reality, it is going to be a full-time job, demanding in terms of personal life, demanding in terms of energy, demanding in terms of being able to do other things as well, than just simply working. So maybe it's that balance that others are thinking that it won't work, but for me, it's a challenge that I will be up for if all of the stars align.
So do you have a recognition problem right now? Because, you're the MNA for Marguerite-Bourgeoys. That's on the island of Montreal. And I got to say, when I talk about you to other people, not many people know who you are, despite the fact that you've got so many roles within the party. I'm just looking, official opposition critic on economy, innovation, finance for the Estrie region, among other things, right? And the vice chair of the Committee on Labor and the Economy. You got some decent roles here. How do you get your recognition up?
Well, we need to be on the ground stomping, making sure we shake hands and meet folks everywhere. So that's basically what I've been doing a good part of the summer, wearing my economic hat and going in about 10 regions in Quebec to get that liberal message out there. That issue in itself is something that I believe will solve itself as time progresses, as I get more and more present in the media and as I get more and more present in the National Assembly and out there in the field in the region. I think probably the most important variable is to be connected with our membership and to be connecting within our membership outside of the 17 regions of Quebec that we need to connect with. That's going to be the key.
We're with Frederic Beauchemin, the MNA for Marguerite-Bourgeoys, and he is considering running for the leadership of the Quebec Liberal Party. So, Mr. Beauchemin, let's talk now about what are the ideals, the vision of the Quebec Liberal Party. I struggle with this. Sometimes I simply just don't know where the party stands on things in general. What's your take? What does the Quebec Liberal Party stand for?
You won't be surprised. I come from an economic background, having worked more than 30 years in capital markets. So from my perspective, economic development is a priority, and it's regional economic development. So there are 17 regions in Quebec. Quebec's economy is like a train pulling 17 wagons. If one wagon is not moving forward, the entire train is not moving forward. So we need to make sure we have economic development that is prosperous for all regions across Quebec, and that's incredibly important. So that's one variable. The other variable, obviously, is to making sure that that's in sync with the environment, and that it's taking care of the present Quebec population, but without mortgaging the future of the next generation. That also drives me, and to be quite honest with you, I believe that there's only one party that's there for rights and freedom, and it's the Liberal Party of Quebec, and we're going to be defending rights and freedom for all Quebecers for as long as I can be there. For
so
sure.
what is that? So let's, on what you just said, you're the only party that defends rights and freedoms, right? So what does that mean, right? We've got a couple of bills that we can talk about. Like, do you have an opinion on Bill 21? Do you have an opinion on Bill 96 that's definitive, that you can say, if I were leader, if I became premier, these things would either stay or go away? Do you have an opinion?
For Bill 96, the concept behind it was to improve French, or make French more sustainable, I guess, is the thinking that was behind it. But obviously, the result of it is not going to be that. I mean, there's nothing in Bill 96 that guarantees me that French will survive and will be sustainable in 400 years from now. I think that in order for French to be actually sustainable, we need to better teach it in school. That's going to be priority number one. Priority number two is to make the culture, French culture, more attractive. So invest money, awareness campaign, make it such that as a newcomer in Quebec, it's the go-to, most attractive culture that one wants to attach itself to, and I think that's going to be the way to protect French on a long-term basis. I don't think it's by stumping on people's right on the English-speaking community that it's going to be improving French. That's a bully attitude that I don't appreciate.
Gotcha. And you skipped over Bill 21. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Bill 21, we will always protect rights and freedom for every Quebecer. I think Bill 21 goes too far, and Legault had the audacity of updating it with the notwithstanding clause. So, I mean, that's again a bully attitude, and I don't think that's the way we want to be. So you're gonna, if you became leader of the Quebec Liberal Party, you'd go to Quebecers with takes on laïcité, which is like one of the defining characteristics of Quebec. And you'd want to pull back on laïcité, and it seems like you're saying, well, Bill 96, it's not the right thing. So you'd go to Quebecers with that, and you think you could get the party up, ahead I think you're at 4% with Francophones. You think you could do better with Francophones with that messaging? If protecting French is the spirit behind Bill 96, I think the target has been missed. In order for French people across Quebec to feel like as if the Liberal Party is there to protect French, we need to actually make a proposition that stands, that makes sense, that is going to be structural, and that is going to be something that people will recognize as, yeah, that's logical, that makes sense. And I think stumping on people's right is not guaranteeing anything for the French culture and French language. I think investing in French in terms of making sure that it's well taught in school and that we have an investment in the culture, yeah, that makes sense. That seems appealing. So, maybe I need to work on the marketing of it, but I mean, at the end of the day, the substance behind the approach totally makes sense.
It just seems like, and I critique because I love, right? When I talk to the Quebec Liberals, right? And I just see going to Quebecers and saying they're the two defining characteristics of Quebec, laïcité and language, not too, I'm going to pull back on those things. And I just don't see it working, particularly on laïcité. And I'll just tell you, I get frustrated here because I think, here's what I think happens. People from the Quebec Liberal Party, they come on CJAD, they assume an Anglo is going to be against Bill 21. I'm very much in favor of Bill 21 because you need to protect gays and lesbians and women and other minorities more than you need to protect religious fundamentalism. And when the Conservative Party comes on, or when I talk to someone from the CAQ, they can give me a much more definitive answer. And I feel you're trying to play all sides. You're trying to make everyone happy. Like your answer is trying to make Francophones happy and Anglophones happy, and then you make no one happy. Does the Quebec Liberal Party need to start sacrificing some people in order to gain in the polls?
Absolutely not. We need to be the party of all Quebecers. I mean, being at the center of the electoral spectrum, being at the center of the policies to make sure that, as a group of all Quebecers living on this territory and this nation, that we need to work together is the only way to make things moving forward. I don't think dividing folks is the way to go in order to make the team move forward. If you want the entire team to win, you need the entire team to be pulling in one direction. So dividing people is not the way to do it. And I'll be honest with you, only way to make sure that we, as people of Quebec, stand together is we need to respect each other. That's the only way to go forward. So that is the way that I believe the Liberal Party of Quebec is in standing for, and that's the way I'm going to move forward.
Of course, my retort would be, at the end of the day, you're going to have to hurt somebody, right? So if you're either going to go after religious rights, or you're going to have to go after rights to be free from religion. I mean, sometimes tough decisions are there. Listen, Monsieur Beauchemin, come back to the studio and let's have a big discussion on the economy, because I know that's what you care about a lot. Will you do that one day?
Well, I look forward to it. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Okay, we'll talk real soon. Thanks so much.
All right, take it easy. Thanks.
Frederic Beauchemin is the MNA for Marguerite-Bourgeoys and a possible person to run for the leadership of the Quebec Liberal Party.